television show is called Jewish Voice. I contacted Jewish Voice once I saw, this was months ago, once I saw that they had an interview with Itzhak Shapira. And Jonathan Bernice it seemed like they were talking about how wonderful this book, Return of the Kosher Pig, was. And of course I said, well, this book teaches a false gospel. Here is the response. Now I couldn't find the original response, but this was, I think, 2 emails in. This from Jewish Voice in an email to me. Shalom, Caleb. Thank you for emailing me directly and for including both the exchanges you had with Rabbi Shapira and Rabbi Hezkel. And so I had sent him some exchanges with those people. Anyway, certainly all of you are passionate men. That's a way of saying you're mean to each other, and I've no doubt of the great love each of you has for the Lord. I'm now writing to provide you with answers to your questions regarding our ministry's involvement with Rabbi Shapira and his book, The Return of the Kosher Pig. Part of my answer is one you already received when Aaron from Jewish Voice initially responded to you. And he's going to basically repeat what this man said. This is why I'm reading this email. Having worked in television broadcasting prior to going into ministry, I can tell you it's quite common for TV shows that engage in conversation with a variety of guests to issue disclaimers that, as Aaron said, views and beliefs expressed by a particular guest may not necessarily be the views and beliefs of Jewish Voice Ministries. Your feeling is that whether a disclaimer is issued or not, believers in Messiah will nonetheless think Rabbi Shapira is someone to check out and follow, and therefore we are even unintentionally assisting in promoting a false gospel. He goes on and tells me why we should always look at various sources and all these kind of things. But however, this is not exactly what I had said in my email. What I had said is that Jewish Voice, even though they might have a disclaimer, they straight up come out and basically say this is one of the greatest books they've ever read. Let's listen to some of what, let's see here. I want to make sure. Let's hear what Jewish Voice has to say about what their goal is.
Jewish Voice is dedicated to proclaiming the gospel, the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah, to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by helping some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world. Even more important than the physical relief our medical help provides is the opportunity to share God's love through the good news of Yeshua.
So God's love through the good news of Yeshua. This exact same ad, I just cut a little bit out. This exact same ad then goes on to say this.
Every gift, large or small, will make a difference in someone's life. As you respond with a gift of $40 or more, we will send you Rabbi Itzhak Shapira's book, The Return of the Kosher Pig. This fascinating book is groundbreaking. It uncovers Hebrew scriptures and ancient Jewish literature, rarely seen, and some in English for the first time, that reveal the divine Messiah and prove that Jesus, Yeshua, fulfilled the first-century expectation. Discover fresh new insights and information that help answer the age-old argument about the identity of the Messiah, a unique interpretation of the divine nature of the Messiah, one that is consistent with ancient Jewish thought. And you'll gain a better understanding of who Jesus is from a traditional first-century Jewish perspective.
Man! Woo!
Okay,
I'm on fire today! I'm on fire!
So wait a minute. Okay, so if we go to Rabbi Dessler, the Musar rabbi, who says that even if it's a lie, if it has a good result, is truth. Because truth is positive religious result. So it seems that there's all sorts of positive religious results there.
Hang on. Did you hear what they said? They said first century understanding. And actually, you know where they get this from? It's Itzhak Shapira.
What I have done is throughout this process, not only dialogue with hundreds, maybe even thousands of observant Jewish people, but really going back to the sources of Judaism, going back, there's so much literature that was written in the 1st century, 2nd century, even before the Talmud, and then going to the Talmud, and then upon the Talmud, so much was written.
Little 25-second clip there for you. So
still the interview with Dr. Brown. It's
yeah, and I would like to know what literature was written in the 1st century that he's referring to. And then I would please like him to produce any manuscripts that would prove that we have 1st century literature.
He's not trained. He's not trained in he lives in the romantic world, but he doesn't have feet on the ground. He's an imagination, and he's never been in a situation of academic rigor. He's never had to. There are some places where he's misciting a source. He miscites sources. These are things that I didn't put in the review, but I could anytime. I'll
wait,
down.
hang on. There's more. There's more. Now maybe Jewish Voice would come out and say to us, well, you know, we were willing to send the book to people for the donations over $40 because even though we might disagree with it, you know, we might not agree with everything in it. That doesn't mean people shouldn't read it. You know, you read books all the time that you disagree with. You read Return of the Kosher Pig, right? Okay. But my point is that Jonathan Bernice, or Bernice, I guess it is. I always mispronounce his name, and I apologize to Mr. Bernice for that. Jonathan Bernice on his show seems to steer his audience in a very specific way. Let's listen to how he describes this book and Itzhak Shapira's work.
I'm back with a fascinating guest, Rabbi Itzhak Shapira, who recently wrote a new book. It's called The Return of the Kosher Pig. The name of the book, although attention-getting, is not a gimmick. It represents an important Jewish topic. I think it is attention-getting, the return of the kosher pig still. So this is really a fascinating book. I've been in the Messianic Jewish movement 30 years, and I've never seen anything like this. So the book examines the nature of the Messiah through traditional Jewish views. And you say that as you researched traditional Jewish literature and dug back 1,500 years, 1,600
More
years,
than that.
2,000 years, you discovered that the idea of a divine Messiah was part of traditional Jewish thought. What's so fascinating about this is that that's been removed today from Judaism, likely because of the Middle Ages and all the disputations with Christianity and trying to keep conversion from happening. But take us back in time.
It sounds to me like he's giving a pretty strong endorsement. However, that's not all that he says. In fact, he goes on.
Scratching the surface. There is so much in this book. It's mind-boggling. And to learn the rest of the case, you just have to read the book. I want to congratulate you.
Just read the book.
This is an amazing piece of work. And if you have any interest at all in digging back through history and understanding who Jesus really was, Yeshua, the divine Messiah of Israel.
Hang on just a sec. We got to go back here. Understanding who Yeshua Jesus really was. So is Jonathan Bernice then saying that we all need to understand that Yeshua is Metatron, as the book clearly says Yeshua equals Metatron equals Sar HaPanim? So let's listen to that again.
And understanding who Jesus really was, Yeshua, the divine Messiah of Israel. This book is like nothing else you've ever read. The Return of the Kosher Pig.
That's right. It's nothing like the gospel. If you've read the gospel and you've read this, you'll see it's nothing like it. These guys are. This shows you. This is an example of how that people go after their itching ears.